You fall asleep without much trouble. Then, somewhere between 2 and 4 a.m., something pulls you back to the surface. Your heart rate is elevated and your mind is racing. If you search for a solution, you'll find endless claims about a magic late-night snack that directly melts belly fat while you sleep. The truth is, no single food acts like a fat-burning switch. A misfiring HPA axis can trigger an outdated stress program at the worst possible time, which effectively blocks your overnight metabolism. While you sleep, your body is supposed to be repairing tissue. Ideally, your insulin levels drop, your growth hormone peaks, and burns stored fat for energy. Using specific nutrients to regulate this biological rhythm restores the body's natural window for fat oxidation. Your body has an internal alarm system known as the HPA axis, the connection between your hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal glands. It manages your daily cycle of stress and rest. This chart shows a healthy, 24-hour cortisol rhythm. The stress hormone drops to its lowest point around midnight. But modern stress, or a sudden blood sugar drop, confuses this system. The HPA axis misinterprets light REM sleep as a physical threat, creating a sudden spike. In response, your adrenal glands dump cortisol and adrenaline directly into your bloodstream. You wake up completely wired. This surge forces the body into a state of high alert, halting the deep sleep and fat-burning processes required for consistent weight management. To stop this misfire, we use magnesium. It acts as a physiological blocker for your nervous system. This schematic shows a neural synapse. Magnesium particles physically plug specific sites, called NMDA receptors, which otherwise keep your nervous system highly stimulated. Concurrently, magnesium supports the release of GABA. This calming signal washes over neural pathways, suppressing the urge to wake up. Maintaining sufficient magnesium levels creates a biological safety net. Even if minor physical disruptions happen in your room, your brain won't fire that 3 a.m. cortisol surge. Blocking stress receptors prevents the alarm from sounding, but stable blood sugar prevents the system from being triggered in the first place. For this, we look to the seed of the Salvia hispanica plant, commonly known as chia. In ancient Mesoamerica, chia was cultivated as a foundational dietary staple, prized for delivering sustained, stable energy over long periods. These seeds contain a massive volume of soluble fiber and omega-3 fatty acids. Together, they slow down digestion and prevent the sharp insulin spikes that lead to nighttime sugar crashes. But preparing them correctly is crucial. Dry chia seeds expand rapidly, absorbing up to 12 times their weight when exposed to liquid. Swallowing a dry spoonful can cause severe bloating, gas, or even dangerous esophageal impaction as they expand inside your digestive tract. To safely harness their blood sugar stabilizing power and stop the 3 a.m. cortisol spike, the seeds must be fully hydrated in water or milk before you eat them. You can combine these elements into a targeted late-night protocol. The rule here is volume control. Keep the snack between 150 and 250 calories so you don't overwhelm your digestion before bed. First, mix a serving of pre-soaked chia seeds with unsweetened yogurt. This delivers the soluble fiber needed to lock in stable blood sugar for the rest of the night. Second, adding 20-30 grams of almonds delivers a concentrated source of magnesium, helping to stabilize those NMDA receptors. If you need a bit more substance, a small slice of lean poultry works well. It contains tryptophan, an amino acid your body uses to naturally drive melatonin production. By pairing precise glycemic control with specific biochemical blockers, you disable the 3 a.m. glitch, your body stays asleep, and your metabolism can finally resume its natural overnight repair cycle. It's 3:14 a.m. The whole world is quiet, but inside your head, it is rush hour traffic. Your eyes just snap open. 1 second you're in the deepest sleep imaginable, and the next, you're just not. Your heart is pounding for absolutely no reason, and your mind is just a frantic race of worries, to-do lists, and maybe that one awkward thing you said back in high school. I'm guessing that sounds pretty familiar, right? Well, this isn't just a bad dream, it's a biological glitch. And today, we're not just going to talk about it, we are going to hunt it down, decode it, and finally, learn how to switch it off for good. I mean, really think about this feeling for a second. It's not just being awake, is it? It's a very specific kind of awake. It's that jolting, wired, adrenaline-fueled state that almost always hits in that dead zone between 2 and 4 a.m. Your heart isn't just beating fast. It feels like it's trying to punch its way out of your chest. And your brain? Wow. It's not just thinking, it's sprinting. It's this tidal wave of anxious thoughts that just comes out of nowhere. It's an experience that's incredibly common, but man, it makes you feel totally alone in the middle of the night. So let me just say this right now, you are definitely not alone. And there is a very real, very physical reason this is happening to you. And look, here is the single most important thing I need you to understand. If you take away only one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. This is not your fault. This has nothing to do with a lack of willpower or some kind of personal failing. You haven't done anything wrong. What you're dealing with is a biological misfire. It's an ancient survival program that's hardwired into your system, and it's being accidentally set off by the pressures of our modern world. Think of it like a smoke alarm that's way too sensitive. It goes off every single time you make toast. The alarm feels real, but the fire isn't. So let's pop the hood and figure out how to recalibrate this thing. Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this glitch, we have to approach this like detectives, and our first step is to clear the crime scene of all the bad information. I mean, the internet is just flooded with myths and weird theories about why this happens, and honestly, most of them just make you feel worse. So before we point the finger at the real culprit, let's get the usual bogus suspects out of the way. You've seen them, right? The ads for some magic snack that's going to torch fat while you sleep? They make it all sound so easy, but it's a total distraction from the real issue. The myth is that this is just a simple snack problem, and it kind of plays into this idea that it's your fault, that you're eating wrong. But the reality is so much more interesting. This is not about a missing food group. It's about a misfiring internal alarm. It's an old, outdated stress program that's hijacking your body. And when that happens, it doesn't burn fat, it slams the brakes on your entire metabolism. So let's forget about magic snacks for a minute and focus on the real question. Why is your body's alarm going off in the first place? So to really appreciate the chaos of the glitch, we first have to understand the beautiful, quiet process that's supposed to happen when you're asleep. In a perfect world, your body is like a high-tech factory, running the most important night shift ever. As you get into deep sleep, your insulin levels drop. That's the signal for the crew to clock in. Then growth hormone, the master foreman of the repair crew, surges, fixing muscles, healing tissues, and basically tuning everything up. Then your body quietly switches its fuel source. It starts tapping into your stored fat for a long, slow, steady burn of energy all night long. It's this perfect, efficient system of repair and restore. It's biological magic, until that faulty alarm gets pulled. And then out of nowhere, a false alarm. A phantom threat signal comes in and completely hijacks that entire beautiful process. Everything just grinds to a halt. It's a total system override. Now, if this frustrating 3 a.m. jolt sounds all too familiar to you, do me a quick favor and hit that like button right now. It really helps me know we're talking about the right stuff. Okay, so the factory has been evacuated. It's time to unmask the culprit behind this mess. The primary suspect here has a name, the HPA axis. Now I know, that sounds super technical, like something straight out of a biology textbook, and well, it is. But don't click away. We're going to break this down. Forget the jargon. All you need to know is that the HPA axis is your body's command center for stress. It's that internal alarm system we've been talking about, and understanding it is the key to finally shutting it up. So what is HPSA? It's just the communication line between three key players. You've got the hypothalamus in your brain, which is kind of like the lookout in the watchtower. It's always scanning for trouble. When it sees something, it sends a message to the pituitary gland, which is like the general. The pituitary then makes a call down to the adrenal glands, which sit right on top of your kidneys. The adrenals, they're your frontline soldiers. They're the ones that release the stress hormones. Hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal. That's the chain of command that runs your entire daily cycle of stress and rest. And when it's all working right, it's actually pretty elegant. Take a look at this. This is the natural, healthy, 24-hour rhythm of cortisol, your main stress hormone. See how it's highest in the morning? That's on purpose. That morning burst of cortisol is what literally pulls you out of bed, gets you feeling alert and ready to go. Then it's supposed to gently coast downhill all day long, like a slow sunset. By the time you're in deep sleep around 2 or 3 in the morning, your cortisol should be at rock bottom, total peace and quiet. That's the value your body needs to get all that important repair work done. But here's the thing, our ancient analog alarm system is trying to operate in a modern digital world. And it's getting confused. It's getting hit by all these modern false triggers, stuff like the constant low-grade stress from work emails that never stop. Or think about this, a sudden drop in your blood sugar in the middle of the night. Your liver is supposed to keep you stable. But if it hiccups, your body can mistake that for a full-blown starvation crisis. Even something totally normal, like your brain briefly shifting into a lighter stage of sleep, can be misinterpreted. The HPA axis sees this little flicker of activity, and instead of just letting you be, it panics. And that right there, that is the heart of the problem. Your HPA axis is just getting confused. It was built for a world where threats were physical and immediate. A rustle in the grass could be a saber-toothed tiger, so the whole system is built to overreact just in case. But today, when it detects a small modern signal, a dip in blood sugar, a worrying thought about a bill, it can't tell the difference. It mistakes the email for the tiger. It mistakes a harmless internal body signal for a life-or-death emergency, and it yanks the fire alarm with all its might. And the fallout from that false alarm is, well, it's dramatic. Just look at the difference here. 1 minute, you're in this beautiful state of deep sleep. Low cortisol, low adrenaline, peacefully burning fat, and repairing tissue. The next second, the alarm goes off. Your adrenal glands dump cortisol and adrenaline into your system. Your fat-burning metabolism doesn't just slow down, it screeches to a dead halt. And all that important repair work? Cancelled. You are instantly ripped out of deep rest and shoved into high-alert fight-or-flight mode. This is exactly why you wake up feeling so bizarrely wired and alert. Your body is chemically preparing you to run from a predator that isn't even there. Now, if a light bulb just went off in your head about that feeling, let me know with a quick AHA in the comments below. It's time to figure out how to cut the wires on this faulty alarm. So how do we actually fix this? It's not about some magic cure. It's about a smart, two-part biochemical strategy. We can't just fix one thing. We need a 1-2 punch. First, we need what I call a blocker. That's something that will directly calm down the overexcited nervous system and make the alarm harder to trigger. Second, we need a stabilizer, something that will prevent one of the main triggers from ever happening in the first place. A blocker and a stabilizer. Let's dig into the blocker first. So our blocker, part 1 of the game plan, is one of the most powerful and most overlooked minerals for a calm nervous system: magnesium. The easiest way to think about magnesium is as the brake pedal for your nerves. When your system is revving too high, magnesium is what helps you gently slow things down to a stop. So how does it actually do that? Well, it's pretty cool. At the cellular level, your nerve cells have these little doorways called NMDA receptors. When stress signals activate them, your nerves get all fired up. What magnesium does is it physically fits into those doorways, basically plugging them up so they can't get overstimulated. But that's not all. It's also working on the other side of the equation. It helps your brain create and release a calming neurotransmitter called GABA. So you see, it's a double whammy. It's blocking the go-go-go signals, while at the same time turning up the volume on the whoa, slow down signals. This combo creates a kind of biological safety net that makes your whole system less jumpy and way less likely to freak out over nothing in the middle of the night. Okay, on to part 2 of our strategy, the stabilizer. So using magnesium as a blocker is a great defense. But a really good plan also has a strong offense, right? We want to stop the alarm from even having a reason to go off. And since one of the most common triggers is that dip in blood sugar, our best offensive player is a tiny little powerhouse of a food, the chia seed. The power that is packed into these little seeds is just mind-boggling. Get this, a single chia seed can soak up to 12 times its own weight in liquid. 12 times. Now why does that matter? Because when they get wet, their soluble fiber turns into this thick gel. And when you eat that gel, it creates a buffer in your stomach that slows everything down. It ensures a super slow, super stable release of energy for hours and hours. It's pretty much the perfect weapon against a nighttime blood sugar crash. But that incredible power also comes with a very, very serious warning. And I need you to listen to this very carefully. Because they expand so much and so fast, you should absolutely never eat chia seeds dry. There are actual medical case reports of people who have swallowed a dry spoonful only to have the seeds expand in their throat and create a dangerous, life-threatening blockage. They have to be fully soaked and turned into that gel before they ever go in your mouth. This is a perfect example of why just knowing what to eat isn't enough. You have to know how. And if you're finding this kind of in-depth, practical detail useful, do me a favor and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss our next breakdown. Okay, team, we have our tools. We've got our blocker, magnesium, to keep the system calm. We've got our stabilizer, the hydrated chia seeds, to prevent the blood sugar trigger. Now it's time to put it all together. Let's build the simple, step-by-step nightly protocol you can start using tonight to finally shut down the 3 a.m. glitch. All right, here's the game plan. 4 simple steps. Step 1, and this is the golden rule. You cannot skip this. Prepare. Take 1 or 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, mix them with some water or milk, and let them sit. Give them at least 20 minutes, or even better, make it ahead of time until they've formed that thick gel. Step 2, combine. Mix that chia gel with a couple of spoonfuls of something like unsweetened yogurt that adds a little protein and fat to make the energy release even more stable. Step 3, block. This is where our magnesium comes in. Toss in about a small handful of almonds, They're a fantastic source. And finally, step 4. This one is an optional boost. If you want to take it to the next level, you could add a tiny piece of turkey. It's got tryptophan, which is the raw material your body uses to make your sleep hormone melatonin. But there is one last, really critical rule for this whole thing to work: volume control. We are not making a midnight feast here. The goal is just to send a gentle biochemical signal to your body, not give your digestive system a huge job to do right when it's supposed to be resting. So keep the whole snack small, somewhere in the 150-250 calorie range. We're talking a few bites, not a big bowl. Remember, the point is to support sleep, not to start a whole new digestive process. And that's the beauty of this whole approach. It works because it's not some random trick, it's targeted science. You're using the precise glycemic control from those soaked chia seeds to stop a blood sugar crash before it starts. And at the same time, you're using the biochemical blockers from the magnesium and the nuts to keep your nervous system from being so trigger-happy. It's a defensive and offensive strategy, all in one. By doing this, you're no longer just a victim of this frustrating nightly glitch. You are actively taking the controls. You are strategically disabling that false alarm. And that allows you to finally reclaim your deep, uninterrupted sleep. And when you do that, you finally let your body get back to its real job, to restore, to repair, and to fire up its powerful natural overnight metabolism. You know, this 3 a.m. glitch is just one of many ways our ancient wiring can get a little tangled up in our modern lives. So I've got a question for you. What other frustrating biological glitches have you experienced that you'd like to see us decode next? Drop your ideas in the comments below. I honestly read every single one. And if this breakdown gave you that aha moment you've been looking for, please help us out by hitting that like button and subscribing for more. It makes a huge difference. Thanks so much for being here, and here's to a full night of uninterrupted sleep.